So this is the ACDSleeve Studio. Check out the sign that I made for a tenner, and yeah, come and have a look round. After 6 months of looking, I found the perfect studio space for ACDSleeve in October 2025. I got the keys in December, loaded up a van with all the old ACDSleeve boxes I've been keeping hold of for no real reason, and set about setting all of this back up. Fast forward 6 months and the studio is about as finished as I think it needs to be. Designs are finalised, the website is pretty much rebuilt, and I'm just about ready to relaunch ACDSleeve in 2026. So first thing you see is this custom unit made by my old friend Ollie Allen, and this hides the Hoover, tools, bin bags, towels, the ladder to get up to this top level where I store cardboard, development models, samples, just stuff that I don't really want lying around. Just keeps everything nice and hidden. Then on here we have some of the mock-ups I've made for the website, which can be seen in various other videos on YouTube. There's production runs, there's jobs that are in progress, a bunch of these boxes ready for production, which I've made to fit these units, so they're stackable to make the most of the space I've got here, because I don't want to outgrow it too fast, although it does feel like I have a little bit. Then we go on to the printer. It has custom made output and input sections, which obviously I made in cardboard because of course I did. There's custom shelves down the bottom for offcuts of card, which yeah, made out of card. Then there's designs I've come up with over the years, various concepts. There's some classics from the first time round that I did this, and obviously they're all on display on cardboard shelving. So this is effectively the office space. This is where I'll check over artwork, get jobs ready for production, check everything's ready to go. Working on getting the website sorted, which is pretty much finished now. This is where I duplicate and print your CDs if you're having CDs duplicated here, and basically do all the menial tasks and admin that comes with running a business. I'm not really one for inspirational quotes, but this quote from Justin Beck from Glassjaw really stuck with me. It's something that I feel like I've been living by since I started ACDSleeve, and it's something which is, I guess, the ethos of ACDSleeve in general. Just making the best possible stuff that I can with whatever I've got. So that's pretty much all that's to be seen here, and then we go on to the shelving. These shelves have a range of cardboard things on them, I suppose. There's work in progress, there's sample boards, there's jobs I've done, there's releases that I haven't made that I love, which again I want to talk about at some point. I've got some records, some packaging I've made in previous jobs. This one for Lose Brews, by Lose Brews. There's books for inspiration, mad pop-up books, which I developed a bit of a love for. You get things like that. It really can get ideas flowing. Check out Proposition Press, who are one of the best at making pop-up books. And then down here we have every single release that I made first time round, a copy of every single release. I think there's about 900 odd. So there's one for, weirdly, an old mate of mine, Kyle. His band Bellevue went on to be in Doctrines, who I love. And another one, a mate of mine, Nick, Burning Buildings, went on to play in Pine. I think that's a lot of this stuff. Again, I might do some videos on some of these music releases. I've got some weird and wonderful formats like this square CD from 31G, which is just brilliant. And this is the plotter. This is the whole reason why I needed this space. It weighs half a ton and I can't get it in the house, so I found this unit, and this thing will change the way that I make packaging forever, pretty much. So it can cut, it can crease, it can draw, it has multiple other functions which I've not even scratched the surface of yet. It makes the possibilities of what I can do here pretty infinite. So this is the old plotter that I used to have to do the old cut cover CD slipcases. It could only cut. It was limited to card size of SRA3, which is 450 by 320. It was limited to the card thickness, which I think was 180 GSM. So I had to crease everything by hand still, and it couldn't cut to print, which this can, as you can see. And yeah, this is what's going to take ACDSleeve to the next level, and I love it. It's great. And in this corner, as well as the shutter to get any large equipment in, which I needed for the delivery of the plotter, I've got the packing area, got a tiny kitchen, got a photography set up, and managed to squeeze in a tiny sofa. So it means I've got somewhere to sit when I'm having my lunch. I bought this tiny TV off eBay, which didn't come with a stand, so I had to make one out of card, obviously. It's just nice to watch stuff when I'm having my lunch. So we got cardboard recycling, which obviously I get through a lot of. Then every delivery that I get, I keep hold of the card to make custom shipping boxes so that your orders get to you in one piece. So because I've got the plotter and because I've got a lot of scrap card knocking about, I can make boxes to fit so that your deliveries get to you in one piece, because couriers aren't going to look after everything. And this just gives a little bit of extra security for me, so I don't have to make everything all over again. I've got pre-cut pieces of card to CD size, which can be used as extra padding to keep stuff more protected. Got a hot melt glue gun for gluing up the custom boxes, which I mentioned. Trying to move on to paper-based tape, which seems like the right thing to do. There's the kitchen. I call it a kitchen. It's just a kettle and a microwave, selection of some pretty excellent instant noodles, crisp selection, which is a very important part of the office. Got the loose brews in the fridge. And then moving on to the photography setup. When I was taking all the photographs for the website, I was just setting up in the office anywhere where I could find good light, and it kept changing with the day, and it just got a bit frustrating when loading them onto a computer. They looked like trash. So I invested big money on this £20 light. Got a lot of white card, so basically made a setup that just stays here, and that's it. It is much better than how I was previously doing it, and it means that I can take decent enough photos to post online and spread the word about what I'm doing here. So these are probably one of my favorite things in the office. They are storage units, they are worktops, they're on wheels, and they hold the sheet size that I need to buy card in to make this work. So basically, you can't buy a unit this size unless it's custom made. And my old friend who I went to sixth form with over 20 years ago, Ollie Allen, who made the unit by the door, he made these for me and I love them. I was looking for months to find anything that would fit. And if it's not A1, then you just you're just out of luck. So these 720, 1020 sheets, basically what I can do with them now is I can run them through the plotter. I can then print them. I can then run them through the plotter again. And then glue them. So it's a process to use as much of this board as possible. So hardly any goes to waste. Every job is measured up and printed efficiently. And it's a way that I didn't think would be possible to work. But the year or so when I wasn't in this space really helped me figure out what is possible. These units hold, I think it's 600 kilos, and there's various boards in here down the side, all the stock that I hold as standard, and then there's various samples and bits and bobs running down here. The great thing about these is that as they're on casters, they can be wheeled together for more workspace. They do weigh quite a bit. So then you can have one huge workspace. Then we got what I like to call the wall of fame. These are jobs which meant a lot to me and still do mean a lot to me. There's the double pop-out CD case, which I did for Kev at BSM, celebrating the 100th release from the label. There's the Minus a Bear Steel and Blood 7-inch, which I made the packaging for, which is unreal to be working on one of my all-time favourite bands' releases. There's the DIY CD case artwork, which I commissioned from Mr. Millerchip, who did the artwork for the double pop-out, and I love that style, so I thought it'd work really well on some artwork to show how you could use the DIY CD cases when I first launched those. There's the Doctrines Z EP, which is the first and only release which I released as a label. Not that I'm a label, but I did more than just make the packaging for it because I love that EP so much. Then there's the job I did for Cartoon Network, the Pariso Kerouac business card CD pop-up 5-inch vinyl mega pack, which is one of the maddest things that I made. And then up the top, we have the Tired Arms EP with artwork designed by paper cutting wizard Owen Gildersleeve, and it was quite ironic, this one, because he's known for cutting paper by hand with a scalpel, and before that every single job was cut by hand, but this run was the first run that I had a die made. So these cases with paper cut artwork on them were cut with a die and not by hand. This space has surpassed my expectations. I didn't think everything would be where it's at this point. It's pretty perfect for what I need. To have this to hand is unreal. When I was learning about structural packaging design, I always thought if I had one of those back when I was running ACDSleeve, all the capabilities of this and not have to do so much manually, it just would have been unreal. So in the next few months, things should be moving. Everything is pretty much ready to go. There's just a few little elements that I'm working on. But by the time you see this, I think the relaunch will have happened. So Follow along on Instagram, subscribe on here if you don't already. Tell your friends in bands, tell your friends who run record labels, tell your friends who just like physical stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.